Imagine, if you will, a world plunged into sudden darkness. Have you ever wondered what would happen if the sun just disappeared? It's a scenario straight out of a science fiction novel, isn't it? But let's take a moment to explore this hypothetical, yet captivating scenario. The sun, our own personal star, is the lifeblood of our planet. It's a massive, glowing sphere of hot gas, 4.6 billion years old and located about 150 million kilometers away. Its radiant energy is the driving force behind all life on Earth, powering photosynthesis in plants, which in turn sustains the food chain. From the warmth it provides to the light that guides us through the day, the sun is integral to our existence. Now let's consider the unthinkable. What if one day the sun just blinked out of existence? Gone. Poof. Not a gradual dimming over billions of years as predicted by astrophysicists, but an abrupt, unexpected absence. The effects would be immediate and dramatic. Darkness would envelop the Earth, as the sunlight that takes roughly 8 minutes to reach us would no longer exist. Our planet, once a vibrant sphere teeming with life, would be left in a state of perpetual night. And the cold. Oh, the cold. The sun, our primary source of heat, would no longer be there to keep us warm. The temperature would drop drastically, 10 degrees Celsius in just a day, 50 degrees in a month, and within a year, well below freezing. Life as we know it would be in peril. Plants would wither and die, unable to photosynthesize. Animals, deprived of their food sources, would starve or freeze. Humans, despite our technological advances, would face a grim battle for survival in this sunless world. The disappearance of the sun would transform Earth into a lifeless, cold, and dark planet. It's a chilling thought, isn't it? But don't worry, our sun still has about 5 billion years of fuel left. For now, we're safe. Now, let's dive into the immediate effects of such an event. The first thing to occur in the absence of the sun is darkness, pervasive and complete. Imagine a world where the sky becomes an incessant black canvas, where the stars that once twinkled are now the only sources of light in an otherwise lightless world. This is not a scene from a dystopian novel, but the reality we would face if our sun, the main source of light for our planet, suddenly disappeared. The darkness would be immediate, but it would take about 8 minutes for us to notice. Why 8 minutes? That's how long it takes for sunlight to reach Earth. So even if the sun vanished in an instant, the sunlight that was already on its way would continue to light our world for those remaining 8 minutes. Then, as if someone flipped off a giant switch, our world would plunge into darkness. This darkness would be unlike anything we've experienced. Think about the darkest night you've ever seen, then erase the moon and the stars. That's the kind of darkness we're talking about. Absolute, complete, unending darkness. In this sunless world, our days and nights would cease to exist. The concept of time as we know it, dictated by the rising and setting of the sun, would lose all meaning. We would be living in a perpetual state of night, with no dawn to look forward to. This darkness would cause a ripple effect, impacting various aspects of life on Earth. Visibility would be a major issue, making navigation difficult. Plants, which rely on sunlight for photosynthesis, would be unable to produce food, leading to a collapse of the food chain. So, while the immediate darkness might seem like an adventurous challenge, the reality would be far from it. It would be a world where the fundamental aspects of life as we know it are completely upended. But darkness isn't the only immediate consequence. The disappearance of the sun would set off a series of events, each more devastating than the one before, leading our planet down a chilling and life-altering path. Next on the list of drastic changes is the rapid cooling of our planet. Picture this. Without the sun's constant supply of heat, the Earth's temperature would begin to drop, and drop fast. Within the first minute of the sun's disappearance, we wouldn't feel much of a difference. This is because sunlight takes about 8 minutes to travel from the sun to Earth. However, as time passes, the consequences of a sunless world would become chillingly clear. Just one day without the sun, and the Earth's average surface temperature would already plummet by about 10 degrees Celsius. That's a colder day than most of us are used to, but life as we know it could still continue. However, the situation would only worsen from there. After a month in darkness, the temperature would have dropped by a staggering 50 degrees Celsius. This is colder than the coldest winter in Antarctica, and at this point, survival for most life forms would be looking grim. Fast forward to a year without the sun, and the Earth's surface would be a frozen wasteland. The temperature would have dropped so much that it would be below freezing everywhere, even in the traditionally warmer regions. The oceans would start to freeze over, and the once thriving ecosystem would be locked in a perpetual winter. This scenario, often referred to as the Big Freeze, is not something out of a sci-fi movie. It's a real possibility if the sun were to disappear. Without the sun's heat, Earth would become a frozen, lifeless planet, much like Pluto or the distant moons of Jupiter. The plummeting temperatures would have a catastrophic impact on life on Earth. It's a stark reminder of just how much we depend on the sun, not just for light, but for warmth, for life. It's a humbling thought, isn't it? Let's move on to how life on Earth would adapt to this new, harsh reality. In a world without the sun, survival becomes a monumental challenge. The sun's disappearance would mean an immediate and drastic reduction in temperature. This, coupled with the perpetual darkness, would lead to a mass extinction event unlike anything we've ever witnessed. Plants, the foundation of most food chains on Earth, rely on the sun for photosynthesis. Without sunlight, they would wither and die, causing a domino effect up the food chain. Herbivores would lose their food source and perish, followed by the carnivores that feed on them. In the oceans, the impact would be just as devastating. Phytoplankton, tiny organisms that form the basis of marine food chains and produce over half of the world's oxygen, would also die out. And what about us humans? Well, we're a resilient bunch. With our technological prowess, we might stand a chance. We could turn to alternative sources of energy. Nuclear power, wind energy, geothermal energy, and others might provide us with the power we need to heat our homes and grow food indoors under artificial light. But make no mistake, life would be incredibly challenging. Food would become a scarce resource, and the constant cold would be a persistent threat. We'd have to adapt to a world without seasons, a world where the concept of day and night no longer exists. We'd be living on a frigid, dark planet, a far cry from the vibrant Earth we know today. And then there's the psychological impact. Imagine never seeing the sun again, never feeling its warmth on your skin. Our circadian rhythms, our sleep-wake cycles that are so intrinsically tied to the rising and setting of the sun, would be thrown into chaos. We'd have to adjust to a new reality, a reality devoid of sunlight. Survival on a sunless Earth would be difficult, but what about relocating to another planet? Finding a new home in the cosmos is a daunting task. If we were to confront the chilling reality of a sunless Earth, humans might need to consider the possibility of relocating to another planet. But this is not as simple as packing up a moving van and hitting the road. The challenges are immense. First off, finding a suitable planet is a bit like searching for a needle in a cosmic haystack. It needs to be just the right distance from its own star, have a breathable atmosphere, and be able to support water. Once we've found our new home, there's the small matter of getting there. With current technology, it could take thousands of years to reach even the closest potentially habitable planets. And let's not forget about the logistics of moving billions of people across the vast expanse of space. It's a mind-boggling endeavor. So, in the face of a sunless Earth, we're left with a stark conclusion. A sunless Earth would be a desolate and lifeless planet. The sun's disappearance would undoubtedly lead to a catastrophic chain of events. As we've explored today, the immediate plunge into darkness would be just the start of an unfathomable domino effect. The plummeting temperatures would transform our vibrant, life-sustaining planet into a frozen, inhospitable wasteland. Without the sun's vital heat and light, most life on Earth would face an inevitable extinction. Plants, the foundation of the food chain, would perish. Animals deprived of food and warmth would slowly fade away. Humans might harness alternative energy sources for a while, but the odds of long-term survival in a sunless world would be daunting. Even if we could develop technology to live in such harsh conditions, or consider relocating to another planet, the realities of distance and time make these options challenging. So, the sun's role in our lives is not just about providing daylight or warmth. It's about creating and maintaining the very conditions necessary for life. So next time you enjoy a sunny day, remember how vital that bright star is to our existence.